and welcome to this year's first edition of the Side Splitters. My name is Lyle,
And my name, as always, is Andy.
and our goal tonight and for the entire year is to leave you in stitches. How was your New Year's?
Oh, it was fabulous. Actually, I enjoy New Year's Day. Like in the prison cell block of holidays, New Year's is by far my favorite inmate.
All right.
Because Thanksgiving is a lot of obligation. Like it's like, oh, you're worried about who's going to what house and what are you
Mhm.
cooking or what are you bringing and everything
Mhm.
like that. And being behaved and not saying anything to start shit with your, cousin's black boyfriend. Then you got to go to Christmas. Then you got to go to Christmas. And again, there's that obligation. It's like, oh, you feel like you got to get presents for somebody or somebody gets you a present. And you're like, fuck you, dude. I didn't get you anything. And you know what? I'm going to keep it that way. I'm not apologizing. And, you deal with, again, not making people like unhappy or anything like that. And it's like stress. It's all sorts of stress. Thanksgiving is stress. Christmas is stress. New Year's, you know what I do on New Year's? I sit on my couch as pantsless as humanly possible with as much alcohol as I can get my hands on, playing as much video games as I can play before my eyes burn out, probably literally, and I pass out in a pool of myself. That is my New Year's plans. And that, if I could do that for 3 holidays in a row, I would probably be ready to die at that point because I've already found heaven.
Wow.
Yeah, that is my New Year's. My New Year's was spent drinking and playing pretty much Borderlands 2 the entire weekend.
Andy Diaz, ladies and gentlemen.
Living life to the fullest, or at least as full as I want it to be. Damn it.
Speaking of as full as you want to be, yeah, that's. I'm sorry. You say Thanksgiving has obligations. The only obligation I have on Thanksgiving is to forget any kind of diet I once was on. Like, ever. Like, even if I'm not currently on a diet, I forget about the word diet on Thanksgiving. That is my holiday. Now, on the flip side of things, I could not have 3 holidays in a row like Thanksgiving. I would die.
Oh
Right?
yeah. No, I would become subhuman at that point. Like I would just be a concoction of
Mashed potato golems.
yeah.
Anyway,
I would be an amalgam of pie and sadness.
New Year's for me is just it's just another excuse for me to eat. Let's just be honest. I
Is that
mean,
your plan for every holiday? Is just to eat?
just about. I mean, I don't know about you, but I consider Super Bowl Sunday a holiday.
No.
Oh, 100%. That's a holiday for me. I take off the next day of work and everything. Like,
Wow.
don't have to cover my shame on this podcast or anything and say, oh, I shouldn't say it on here because I still have to call in sick on the job. Well, come that month. No, I already requested off, and it's already been approved. Like that is just in stone. That's my day off. Don't even expect me to come into work any year. I don't care who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I don't care, who the halftime show is. Anything. I don't care about any of that. Super Bowl Sunday is a national holiday for me, and I get off the next day of work. Anyway, the
Wow.
reason why, and that day is my holiday for me, that I would love to have 3 holidays in a row, similar to your New Year's Eve. It's got
Okay.
everything you would want. It's got everything you would want. It's got great entertainment. It's got people showing an interest in, for me at least, people showing an interest in something that I'm interested in, but most of the time, no one cares about it as much, except for that day. And all of a sudden I am a god of information for everyone. I am literally a 20-person hookah and everyone is just sucking off the teats of my knowledge pool.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so I could see that. So that is a holiday where you're useful.
Very. Because I bring great chili to whatever festivities I go to.
What chili?
I usually bring wings of some variety. This year it might be homemade because I just got
Oh,
making some homemade wings and my god, they're
chili
delicious.
wings.
Chili, wings, and that's it. Like that's the thing. Like Super Bowl Sunday is meant for eating terrible things, and it's great. Like it's no traditional things neither. Like I mean, you could say wings are traditional for football. You could say pizza, beer, maybe chili, but there's no need for traditions. Like turkey, or Thanksgiving, you have to have turkey. For my family, Christmas, you have to have seafood.
Mm.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. New Year's, you have to have alcoholic beverages. Super Bowl Sunday, it's all hats are off, man. Like you just whatever you want, you get. If you only want to watch commercials, that is the only day of the year that people are like, I am interested in the commercials. You don't get that anywhere else.
Not true. I was just never like a fan of the game. Like I've never been interested in football enough to watch a game of it, let alone the game of it.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Most people aren't. Like I've been to plenty of Super Bowl parties before where it's just like no one cares about the game itself. Like they'll occasionally check in and go, "Hey, what's the score? Who's winning?" And you say the name of the city that's winning, and they go, "Who?" The Broncos, or in this year's case, as far as I'm concerned, the Chiefs. That's my pick.
For the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers aren't even in playoffs, man.
Wouldn't it be funny though? Imagine the year they win the Super Bowl.
They have won a Super Bowl not too long ago. Earlier in the millennial, 2005-ish, 4-ish. I don't know.
No, it doesn't sound recent when you put it in those terms. It's like, oh, they did it at the beginning of the millennium.
Yeah, I guess so. But no, it's been less than 20 years. I'll put it to you that way. I'm fairly certain it's been less than 20 years. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah. So where was I? Right. Like I was saying though, Super Bowl Sunday. It's just that is the holiday to end all holidays for me. And the great thing is, it's not even because everyone's happy or anything like that. No, I don't want to see happiness. And the only time I really stress is when my team is in the Super Bowl. And from what I have witnessed of recent, one of two things happens. My team is not in the Super Bowl, or my team wins the Super Bowl. So there's really a good ending to every story every year. And this year, my team is not going to be in the Super Bowl because they lost Sunday and are now knocked out of contention for it.
They had a really good streak too.
Yeah, they made it all the way to the playoffs and did wonderful getting there and completely blew it. I don't even want to talk about it. It was just gross. Anyway,
It's almost like they were paid to lose.
no, no. Apparently,
Hmm.
you see, okay, I'll give you the analysis from what ESPN will feed you right now. You see, the
Better
Green
be a
Bay Pack.
taco.
It's not the Green Bay Packers is who they were going against. The Giants, for those who haven't listened before. The Giants are my team, and they were playing against the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh well, then yeah, Packers win.
Right, whatever. Very cold that day. We're not doing this anymore, Andy. That segment is done. Very cold that day, and a few days prior, all of these star receivers for the Giants decided to go to Miami, Florida, and party shirtless and take pictures on a yacht and post them on Twitter. So naturally, the cold day of Sunday comes around, and everyone's like, "Oh, no wonder they lost. They were still, in party mode from Miami." It's stupid. Actually,
Honestly,
there's other reasons, but I'm not going to get into that. Go ahead.
well, yeah, because it was cold. The Giants, right?
Yes, Andy.
Cold causes shrinkage.
Right. Of course it does. Cold causes shrinkage, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just saying, the results don't lie.
Tell you what, let's see how far we can take this real quick. The segment is officially done. Unofficially, I'd like to know some of your picks, if that's
Okay.
okay with you. If we
No,
don't have to
that's
do we don't have to do the whole thing, go into the whole spiel or whatever. But I just want to know what your picks would be for the upcoming games.
okay.
All right. Um, First and foremost, I guess would be for me the Packers and the Cowboys at the Dallas Cowboys.
Probably the Cowboys.
Probably the Cowboys. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause they don't take kindly to their kind around there in Texas. So I doubt that them there Packers are going to be coming up to the porch looking all looky-loo with Cowboys. The Cowboys be like, no, get the hell out of my cow patty ranch,
Right.
Packer.
This one's kind of boring. Steelers and Chiefs. Well, I'm sure you're going to make it not boring.
Steelers versus Chiefs.
At
No,
the
because
Chiefs.
it's at the Chiefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, because I mean that's what's going to happen when you get a bunch of workers that go to the foremans. Like the foreman's just going to tell them what to do. Like I don't think the Steelers have enough coordination to stop the Chiefs from just giving them direction and then just whipping their ass all over the field. So yeah, probably the Chiefs.
Okay. Okay. Texans and Patriots.
Uh, see now that one. While I'm pretty sure that the obvious answer here is the Patriots, but I don't think so. Um,
Oh, do tell.
Well, because here's the issue that out of every other state in this grand union of ours, Texas has always been, in its heart of hearts, independent. Um, you know, to the point where they were their own independent state for the longest damn time. And they did kind of things their own way. So I think if anybody has a chance to defy the Patriots, it would probably be the Texans. They're kind of predispositioned and built towards that kind of rebellious nature. So if anybody was going to be able to go against the Patriots, it would be the Texans.
All right. And finally, I say finally, as in the fourth and final game of the week. This is why we're not doing the segment because there's only 4 games. uh, and I saved this one for last specifically for you because this is the end all be all. Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. Birds of prey. Who is better?
Ooh, uh, and they're at the Falcons.
They're at the Falcons.
No, that's rough. If it was the other way around, I would say the Seahawks, but the Seahawks are going on an uphill battle going at the Falcons.
Is that right?
Yeah, because the Seahawks are fiercely territorial and they're really good on the defense because they have a very community-minded nature involved with them. Falcons are no such things. They are solitary hunters and birds of prey, but they are also fiercely territorial. Like that's their hunting grounds.
Mm.
So I would think that going into those hunting grounds, the Seahawks don't really have too much of a chance to repel them. Like if yeah, it was the other way around. Like they're not meant to survive an ambush. They are supposed to be the ambushees or the ambushers, not the ambushees.
So you're taking, just so I'm clarifying here, Cowboys, Chiefs, Texans, Falcons.
Yes.
I hope you're right about every single one of those. Well, I'm not going to say I hope you're right about the Cowboys. The Cowboys kind of deserve to win, but you know, it's whatever. I don't really care about the game. But I do feel the Cowboys are going to win. I don't think the Packers can beat the Cowboys. Different reasons than yours, but just saying. Uh, so that's cool. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll probably continue in that format next week too, up until the Super Bowl, which I can't wait. Super Bowl comes around, you are going to need like a detailed explanation.
That's absolutely fine. I can even go over like hypothesized scenarios to how it would play out. 'Cause I could not only just do the winner of the game, I could probably tell you how the game's gonna go.
Okay, real quick. So we got the Chiefs, the Falcons, the Texans, and the Cowboys. Of the 4 of those, what 2 do you think are going to be Super Bowl contenders? Let me make it easier for you. So the Chiefs and the Texans would be playing each other if the 2 of them won this week. So of the 2 of them, which would win?
Chiefs versus Texans. Depends on who's going where.
Okay, it would be at the Chiefs.
It would be at the Chiefs.
Yes.
No, I would actually give that one to the Texans.
Okay, no explanation, just want to know
Yeah.
quick. All right, so the Texans will be in the Super Bowl, and then it would be either the Cowboys or the Falcons at the Cowboys.
Hmm. No, I would give that one to the Cowboys as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have it. First here, the 2016-2017 Super Bowl is going to be the Houston Texans versus the Dallas Cowboys. And what's crazy about that, I pray to every flying spaghetti creature out there that you are right, because
Why?
here is why. That would be the most monumental Super Bowl ever. I think. And here's why. Because, okay, there's a couple things to go over here. First of all, my mom is very much a stickler for not a stickler, but she's one to theme a lot. She loves to theme things. She's huge
Okay.
into feng shui and everything. This is all going to wrap together with football in a second. You'll see how. For some reason, her favorite team is the New Orleans Saints or the Detroit Lions. One of the two.
Yeah, one of
Yeah,
these things is like the other.
she gets two. Don't worry about it. Um, the one year they were going, that the New Orleans Saints were facing the Indianapolis Colts in the Super Bowl. The Indianapolis Colts is my brother's favorite team. So we went to my brother's house, and my mom cooked all this New Orleans style food,
Okay.
which was awesome. And I was like, man, it kind of sucks that I'm a fan of New York Giants, because what kind of food can you make? I mean, sure, I can make like New York style pizza and a deli sandwich, and that's it. But aside from that, you really can't go all out like you could with a New Orleans team.
Right.
So, if it's the Houston Texans versus the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl, I am doing some theming. I mean, come on. It's going to be barbecued meat everywhere.
have,
And
have have a grill going in freaking February.
and as if to not stray away from the awesome coincidence, every year the Super Bowl is predetermined of where the location is going to be. It's actually predetermined right now for the next several years. I don't know the actual number, but they already plan out the locations of every Super Bowl for the next couple of years. It doesn't matter who's there; they will play in this team stadium.
Okay.
If that team happens to make it to the Super Bowl that year, that's happen chance. It's just cool, good for you. You have a home field advantage by chance. I don't think I'll put it to you this way. I don't remember seeing in my lifetime a Super Bowl team with a home field advantage. But
Ow.
the Super Bowl this year is in Houston. So if the Texans go and they're going against the Cowboys, that's about as home field as you get.
Wow. Yeah. Seriously.
This is why it would be monumental. So my God, I hope you're right. That's all I want to say about that. We're done with football now. I
All
swear,
right.
it's done. I do want to move on to something else though. It's January, as everyone I'm sure knows, and big part of
Oh,
big part of January for me has always been this one thing that I watch. It's called Awesome Games Done Quick, and what it is it's a speed running marathon. It's something that's streamed on Twitch, and you've heard of it, right?
oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just a bunch of speedrunners that get together and they have this. I think it's 8-day marathon, maybe 10. I don't know. It's just over a week long marathon, like 24/7. Do not stop of speedrunning video games. Just speedrunners from all across the community. It's really cool. And they usually do it to raise money for some cause. They do one in January and one in June. The one in June is called Summer Games Done Quick, and that is to raise money for an organization called Doctors Without Borders. And the one in January is called Awesome Games Done Quick. That's the one that's happening now, and that's to raise money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So it's pretty cool. Actually, get a little deep here for a second. Me and Andy actually have both lost a friend to cancer before, so it kind of is a little near and dear to us. I've actually lost other people to cancer too before, so it's always cool to see that kind of thing come together, especially with video games and everything like that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
all that being said, though, speedrunning is awesome to watch. If you straight up just watch speedrunning for a little bit, it is so much fun to watch. Like especially for like video games that you have played as a kid and haven't touched since then, and stuff like that. Like there's just all kind of cool stuff to see that people will do to destroy the games of your childhood.
Yeah,
So,
actually, I think it's kind of fun to watch people play games that like, you have fond memories of a kid as you have fond memories of the game as a kid. Ugh. But
yeah.
for
How
some
about
reason,
hell?
it seemed impossible at the time. Like there were games I remember growing up with that seemed impossible to beat. Like um,
Friday the
Comic
13th?
Zone.
Comic Zone, great example.
Like I've only ever gotten to stage 3. That's it. I don't know how many more stages there are after that, but I've only ever gotten to 3. And watching somebody do a run of that is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, actually, one of my favorite ones was a pacifist run of Shinobi.
Ah, yes. Was that the one that was ran by I don't know if you know the streamer name or not, but Sinister One?
It does sound familiar.
Okay. One of my favorite streamers, for those that don't know, Sinister One, pacifist shinobi is basically you complete the game without attacking any enemies, unless you absolutely need to, meaning in order to progress through a level. For example, bosses.
Yeah.
So the only time you actually hit the attack button is during bosses. That's something, because Shinobi is a difficult game to begin with.
Yes, it is.
So to do it without actually using your attack button, whole new level of, you know, awesomeness.
Yeah,
uh,
I blew me away.
and that's not the only place he takes it at the next level too. Because first of all, I don't know if he still has it, but he has at one point had the world record for the best time for that style of shinobi running. Um, he also had the best record for Mike Tyson's Punch Out, which was the thing that blew me away, for speed runs, and he also did made it the furthest was the first to attempt and made it the furthest of doing Mike Tyson's Punch Out blindfolded, which was just fascinating to watch. Once he started doing it, the community picked up on it and was like, we're going to make this happen. Like this is going to be possible. And since then, people have made it as far as beating Tyson, himself included. Um, but at first he couldn't beat Tyson. It was just meant to be a joke and like, let's see how far we can actually take this. He did it. He got far, like much further than anyone expected, himself included. And then everyone was like, "Hey, we could do that. Let's try it." And next thing you know, people are beating Tyson, and now they're actually racing to see who has the best time blindfolded. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I actually a game that's near and dear to my heart. I mentioned it before with Borderlands. Like that game, Borderlands 2, is my favorite video game of all time. I love that game. And to this day, nobody has ever completed a one life run all the way.
Really?
It has never been done. Nobody has gone from level 1 to OP8 on one life.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the game's been out since 2012. So that's that's saying something right there.
Wouldn't it suck? Wouldn't it suck if you like were in contention of being able to complete it? And like I don't know, maybe you're like on OP level 4, not quite there, but not far away. And then you like died at something stupid, like you fall, because you're driving in a car and like you hit a patch of ice or something, and you fall into like a thing of, you know, death.
I actually saw a streamer. He was on playthrough 3, and he wanted to get through. He's grinding some XP out of Lynchwood, and the train that goes through there. Even if you're in the building that the train comes out of, if you're on that platform above the train, it still counts as being in the path of the train and will kill you.
Ooh.
And I don't think he realized that the train was on its way, because like he was just leaving the building. He rounded that corner to go up the stairs, heard the train horn, and his character died. Just instant respawn. And it's like, no, no.
What level was he at? Do you know? Did you mention?
60 something.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's grim.
yeah. Like just come out of nowhere, just like, oh yeah, by the way, you're dead. Start over.
Yeah, there's certainly some awesome times. As a matter of fact, one I don't remember what year it was. It was a couple years ago, but it was AGDQ, and so January 1, and someone was speed running a game that some of you might know. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Yeah,
Super underrated game, in my opinion. Anyway, like the game is really good, and a lot of people don't give it the credit it deserves. Anyway,
I played it a lot in Toys R Us.
I did in Sears. They were speedrunning that, and then out of nowhere at the convention center that they were holding the event at had a fire drill. So they had to go outside in the freezing cold with like nothing but a tank top on. So when they came in, they legit had to take like a solid 5 minutes. They had to pause the run, which means they had to pause the timer and everything. It was a big to do, you know. It's like, oh God, what do we do? How do we do this?
Right.
So he came back in and he was like cold, you know. You can physically see he was visibly cold, you know. So he had to like take a few minutes to like just practice on some beginner levels, on some starter levels, just to get his finger speed back up to par. It was really cool to see.
Huh.
Yeah.
Actually, that brings up a funny point. I know that we've been on a video game tangent, but I do have a question for you.
Okay.
What is your proudest video game moment?
My proudest video game moment. Oh. Oh
Yeah, that
God.
might.
That's something I would have to require some thought for. Tell you what, homework assignment. I'll come back next week with it.
I'm curious because like I know there have been some things like I've 100% completed like certain games that I was really happy about, like getting all the achievements and everything like that. Um, I know I've been pretty happy about that. There are certain achievements on my list that I'm very proud of. Um, and what else? I know probably a big one up there for me was getting the Hadouken in Mega Man X the first time.
Mm. Okay, before we go into that real quick, I just want to mention one other thing about also getting this done quick. Um, it's you can check it out right now. It's going on. This will be up Thursday, so it'll also be happening Thursday. Let's see. Just to name a few games on the agenda for Thursday real quick. I want to promote the hell out of this. I'm sorry, I'm doing it real quick.
No, that's fine. I absolutely support the cause.
Okay. Let's see here. So Thursday, you're looking at a Sonic block. There's a whole bunch of Sonic games happening on Thursday. So if you're into Sonic, that's cool. Donkey Kong. Uh, let's see. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past on Thursday. That's a huge one. That's at 7 o'clock p.m. Paper Mario: A Thousand Year Door. Um, then going into Friday because those are both pretty decently long speed runs. Going into Friday, you have. Oh, I feel like they missed out on an opportunity here.
Hmm.
Hold on a second. Let me see something.
What you got?
Well, I'm just looking at something here, and I don't see. Friday is Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
You would think they would speedrun that game on Friday.
I don't even know if that game can be beaten.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen speedruns of it. It's something.
Huh.
It is quite, and that's a great example of what we were just talking about. Like people will do things to these games that you couldn't even beat, or even fathom anyone seeing anyone beat it. Like you just would not expect to happen, and these people are speedrunning them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, Friday you got some Star Wars games, DuckTales, which is
Woo.
great. Yeah, Contra, like a whole Contra block, Metal Slug, Crash Bandicoot. Everyone loves that. He's coming back with a new game. That's cool. Crash Team Racing, all kind of cool stuff. Sly Cooper, Jack and Dexter, Ratchet and Clank. So yeah, check it out. Anyway, it's Games Done Quick, or nope, that's not right. Ignore that. Twitch.tv/Games Done Quick. So there you go.
Look, I'm looking forward to a few things myself.
Yeah, me as well. First of all, for me, same with every year. Super Metroid Race.
Yeah.
Every year I look forward to that. It's so cool.
I actually
But
really enjoyed last year the Digimon World one.
I actually think they're doing a Mega Man X race. By the time this will be up, it'll already be over. They're doing it tomorrow,
Oh, nice.
so that'll be at five
That out.
o'clock. Yeah, it'll be at 5 o'clock, and it's 100% run, so they'll get the Hadouken.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I've seen those runs. They're very impressive. But go back to what you were saying. So that's your proudest moment, or one of your proudest moment, was getting the Hadouken in Mega Man X.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick like the thing that I loved achieving hands down.
Yeah.
Um, but That's definitely one of them. I know another one was being able to finally beat my older brother at video games, like Street Fighter 2 style, like old school Street Fighter 2. Like I couldn't win. I could never win. And then there was a day where I turned that corner, and it was like I would always win.
Yeah, a big one for me would have to be beating Culex in Super Mario RPG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, are you familiar
Yeah,
with that one?
that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something huge for me. Because I remember as a kid, making I beat Super Mario RPG as a kid, and I loved it as a kid. It was the game that introduced me into the world of RPGs between that and Shining Force. Um,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah. That's on the list.
so playing that game and beating it, I was like, all right, cool. Now let's go back into that save file and see what else I can do. You know, in other words, 100%ing the game before it was, a thought in my mind to 100% a video game.
Right.
So just trying to get as much of the content out of it as possible. So I remember there being this one fight that I knew I wasn't ready for yet because I tried it and immediately got demolished.
Ah.
So I was like, now that I have fought the final boss and beat him on this level, let me go beat this guy on this level. No, not even close. Several attempts. Came back more prepared with items and all that. No, not happening. I'm like, how is this possible? So I gave up as a kid, forget it. Years later, I was like, I'm gonna be QLEX. I'm gonna find out a way how to do it, and I'm gonna do it. And obviously, my experience with games and all that got a little bit better, and I beat him. And I was like, yeah, that took way longer than it should have. Years in the making. Um, but yeah, that was that. Another one. See, for me, it's all old game things, old game achievements. Like nothing really new. Like a lot of people might say, oh yeah, the first time I beat Halo on Legendary Edition or whatever the hell it's called, Legendary mode or some shit.
Legendary edition. Cute.
Yeah, but for me, it's like Mario RPG, beating Street Fighter 2010, the final fight for the first time, uh, beating the original Legend of Zelda.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think
uh,
that had an end either.
yeah, it had an end. Yeah, just to name a few, just those like beating Tyson. Let's be honest, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, beating Tyson, like knocking him out. I won by decision as a kid, but I never knocked him out as a kid. So
Wow.
years later, I was able to knock his ass out, and that is quite the feeling.
Yeah, I beat Dead Space um on impossible mode using just the pistol you get at the start of the game.
Okay,
I thought that was pretty good.
okay. And the last one I'll mention, and definitely my last one I'll mention, because too much video game talk.
Yeah,
uh,
right.
Chrono Cross for PS1. When I beat that game, and it's not really much of an accomplishment, but it is a long game, and being a I don't know, 12, 13-year-old kid, maybe 14, and playing that game, not many 13, 14-year-old kids are like, I'm going to invest several hours into this one RPG. A lot of people are sitting there going, yo, huh, Final Fantasy 7, whatever. Look, the point
I
of
was
it
gonna
is,
say that exact thing.
the point of it is, like, just, normal kids wouldn't want to
Uh,
invest that much time into a video game. But, Chrono Cross was indeed a long game. And when I finished that, I was like, that was a great game. And the fact that I was able to finish it and, exclaim that it was just wonderful, that it felt good. Wasn't much of an accomplishment, but it just felt good to me. It was a proud moment in my gaming history. Anyway.
completing the Alolan Pokedex.
That wasn't really that difficult. I did want to touch on one other thing real quick. I have an article here. It originally was going to be a clickbait news article, but then the more I read into it, I'm like, this is something that I need to bring up in a normal talking tradition. And I've already talked to Andy a bit about it already, before we started recording.
Love it.
I'm just gonna read the article, the title of it here. the headline, if you will. Fortune teller who uses asparagus to predict the future claims national treasure Brit couple will divorce. Now, there's a few things to go over
So
here.
much about that.
it's I'm going to share screens with Andy on this one. That's how we're going to have to do this one. Just has to be done that way. He has to see what's going on here. So here she is in all of her match.
She looks like she communes with asparagus.
and am I correct in saying her name is Jemima?
That is how I would pronounce it. Yes, Jemima.
Okay. So Jemima Packington throws asparagus spears into the air. Oh,
and interprets.
Is that what that's supposed to be? Oh, I see.
And interprets the way they land.
They land. You see what I have to deal with? Now you can finally see.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, who proofreads this shit?
The way that these articles are written sometimes. Everyone's probably like, man, that guy can't read for shit. No, it's these articles, man. Yeah, she interprets the way they land, and that's how she predicts the future. So let's move on. A fortune teller who uses asparagus to predict the future claims Britain will have a thriving economy during 2017, and a national treasure showbiz couple will divorce. Here's my favorite part. Jemima Packington, otherwise known as the Asaparamancer. I am right now changing my Steam profile name to the Asaparamancer. And my avatar is just going to be a picture of asparagus.
Worth it.
Otherwise known as the Asaparamancer or Mystic Veg, has been throwing asparagus spears into the air and interpreting the way they land for many years to predict the future. She has been dubbed, oh god, there's more, ambassador for Vale Gras, the Vale of Evesham, even though she now lives in Bath. Okay.
UK thing.
Yeah, sure. It is a great honor. Obviously, they spell honor with a U. It is a great honor, yeah, to be associated with it, and it is great fun. I do it because I enjoy doing it, she said. She added that she does readings for people up to 50 a day at the British Asparagus Festival in the Vale of Evesham. She often get you see what I'm doing here? She often get repeat business from people she saw in previous years because her forecasts were so accurate. Oh man.
Unbelievable.
Oh, this is great. She's thought to be the only Asaparamancer in the world and began making predictions aged 8.
There are plenty of kids that don't even eat asparagus at the age of 8, let alone predict the future with it.
She said she inherited the gift from her elderly aunt who used to read tea leaves.
Oh yeah, because they're the same thing.
A tea-mancer.
Yeah. A Liptonologist, if you will.
Very nice. A bristic.
Using her EST.
Only powder, or only power, no powder. All right. So she made predictions last week, and using imported asparagus due to the time of year. And here's some of her predictions for 2017. The USA will be seen as a pariah under the presidency of Donald Trump.
You don't need asparagus for that.
Shut up, Andy. Brexit will go ahead despite efforts of those wishing to derail it.
Again.
Other European countries will follow UK's example and apply to withdraw from the European. What is that? European.
The European Union. Which,
yeah.
Yeah, which again they'll apply for it, but it won't happen.
Troubling times for the royal family.
Well, yeah, she's like 105.
Many more sporting scandal stories will emerge with very high-profile figures falling from grace.
No. You don't say. Scandals in sports? Outrageous.
If this woman ruins my Super Bowl party with her stupid-ass asparagus throwing. Okay. The political atmosphere of certain EU countries will change with the deposing deposing of several prominent leaders.
Okay.
All right. Political turmoil within UK opposition parties will rumble on. No.
No.
A major reveal of the UK's education system will be undertaken.
It already has been.
Looks like that's it.
Wow. Yeah, nothing I would stand out as, that's weird. I wonder if the asparagus is going to be right on that.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to bring up this whole thing. First of all, have you ever been to a fortune teller? Let's start with that.
Huh. Have I ever been to a fortune teller? I don't think I have.
I have. I've been there.
Have you?
I've been there one time. What was I doing there? I think. Oh God, this is funny. It was prom weekend.
Oh, all right.
um, and tradition from my school was prom was held in Wildwood, New Jersey. Therefore, uh, after prom, most people stayed in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Prom was on Thursday. We still had school on Friday. Never understood why they did that, but whatever.
Weird.
They always did that. Prom would be on a Thursday. Very much had school on Friday, and that was what was known as senior skip day. Every senior skipped because they were at the prom. um, so like teachers wouldn't even hand out work because they knew what it was. Like the two people that couldn't get a prom date or refused to go to prom for whatever reason that showed up to class on Friday were just sitting there like, well, I get free study halls all day.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it.
Right. So anyway, the next day I'm walking around on a boardwalk. Wildwood, New Jersey has a boardwalk for those who don't know. It's kind of popular.
And those who don't know are sad people.
Yeah, pretty much. Looking at you, Tennessee. So walking around the boardwalk and just doing everything there is. And okay, little background. At the time, I was dating this girl who was supposed to go to prom with me and didn't at the last minute because her mom wouldn't allow it. After I've already paid for her, I think her dress, her ticket, and her day at the salon to get all done up.
Oh, bitch.
I paid for all that, and at the last minute, her mom goes, "Yeah, she's not allowed to go, just because." So yeah, it sucked, but whatever. But I went to this fortune teller on the boardwalk to find out, what fate had in store for me in
Mm.
terms of my love life and in terms of my employment, because I was looking to get into the electrician business at the time. You see how that works? Um, so I go to this fortune teller, and apparently there's going to be some bumpy hills, but the current love life that I have will thrive. Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah.
Not the woman I'm married to, by the way. Um, and then the other one was something about like she had no idea what it was, but she said like I don't know what field it's going to be, but it's going to be very bountiful, whatever field you're about to get into. And I'm like, me being like kind of taken back. Oh, I'm about to be an electrician or an apprentice of electrician. Go with that. Stick with it as long as you can. That's going to be bountiful for you. This whole thing. You're going to be an expert in that field. Blah blah blah. Okay. So I started asking other questions like that she should know answers to. Like, is that something I should start immediately, or is it something I should take a while for, or this that? I can't tell you that. Why not?
Yeah,
how
right?
how can you tell me these things that are going to work for me, but you can't tell me when they're going to work or how they're going to work or anything else for that matter, other than it's going to work for me? Why are you only telling me things I want to hear? Like,
No.
I didn't, yeah, right. I didn't ask these questions, but I was just like, yeah, I'm a little skeptic of this thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she kind of had me for a second there because I was very gullible at the time with the whole love life thing, and
Yeah.
the employment thing. I was just like, I could see that working, you know. It obviously didn't. I feel spices now. So yeah, that was it. It was kind of lackluster. I'm not gonna lie, but it was the only experience I ever had. The other question I had for you is regarding the Asaparamancer. Um,
Love it.
have you ever known vegetables to do anything else other than be food.
Ooh, in a pinch, potatoes can be a battery.
Have you ever used a potato as a battery?
Once.
For reasons other than getting an A in science?
Zero. Not in a survival sense. I don't think I've ever done that. Um, but like, man, I have used corn as a weapon. Um,
Okay. Like,
and that was,
was it an actual weapon or was it a prop that you were using because you decided to go as the Scarecrow for Halloween, based off of the movie Scarecrow, where a Scarecrow literally goes around stabbing people with ears of corn?
no, it was in the idea that me and my brother were bored, so that we decided that the best use of our time is to go through a cornfield and chuck ears of corn at each other like grenades.
Oh, that seems right.
And when we didn't have corn, we had pine cones, and those hurt like a bitch.
Oh, yes, they did.
Oh, um, let me see. Used watermelon as a bomb.
Okay,
Who hasn't, right?
right.
Yeah, I want to say that we weaponized more vegetables and fruit than probably should have. That is its only use. I can't see it really predicting the future too much as taking somebody's future away from them.
Well, I mean, you can always say, you know, FYI, if you want pine cones to read the future for you, don't do it again.
Yeah, right.
I see in your near future, you're not going to be getting hit with pine cones anytime soon. You're going to be avoiding them as much as possible. That's fun. But yeah, so
Yeah,
that's that.
I am way too skeptical for any of that stuff to work on. Like I am by nature a very skeptical person.
Yeah.
Um, like when people tell me like haunting stories and stuff like that, I'm like whatever. Or people have like miracle stories. I always just shrug it off. I'm like, yeah, no. Like um, I don't know. Here's a fun thing. Like I don't know where your um personal beliefs lie, but what about luck? Do you have any money invested in the concept of luck?
Not particularly.
Yeah.
Luck, faith. Okay, I should answer it this way. Uh, I kind of scoff at the idea of luck, and I kind of laugh at those. Not laugh at them, but like just when someone tells me, they carry around this trinket for luck, it's like, good for you. I'm glad that makes you feel comfortable. So,
Right.
whereas it might make someone, again, my mother, huge fan of the idea of luck. She's very much into the whole feng shui thing. Like, she has statues of frogs that have to be facing the door, and
Okay.
or they either it's that or they can't face the door because then they'll jump out and they're carrying money or some, I don't know. You literally walk into her house, you'll see a crucifix for Christianity, um, two of the what do they call them? Like Taoist balls that you know stress balls that you rotate in your palm of your hand.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so she has Taoist stuff. She has a Buddha shrine sitting there, a big ass gong so you can hit it and cleanse the air of evil spirits. And then you go into her basement and she has wind chimes hanging up everywhere.
In the basement?
The basement.
That's a weird place for him.
Tell me about it. I used to sleep down there, and every day I'd wake up, and the first thing in the morning, bing bong, I'm getting hit in the head with wind chimes.
About to say they can't be going off in the wind because
No, they're not.
basement.
They're going off when I hit them. Like at first, I was like, "Is this a ruse to annoy me?"
I would think the exact same thing.
Because I'm pretty sure it was. And then I asked her. I was like, "Are you setting up your own security traps down there? Like, what's going on? Are you afraid that the ninjas are going to attack at night or what?" And she's just like, "Shut up, Lyle." And she gave me some reason as to why it was. Uh, One last thing I'll say about my mom, and look, I love her to death. Don't get me wrong, she's great, but she's just a little eccentric and hysterical sometimes. One thing she did one time was there was a dog. This is great. There was a neighbor that moved in next door, a couple houses down, and I guess they got a new dog, or the neighbor just moved in or something. I don't know. She was telling me the story. I wasn't living there at the time. I already became an adult and moved out. Um, and she had this dog, and or no, the neighbor had this dog, and they were just consistently barking every morning. Because the people would go to work and they would leave their dog outside, and the dog would just bark all morning. My mom works second shift, 3 to 11, so she gets home and cooks dinner. So she's up to like 3, 4 in the morning sometimes, which means she doesn't wake up until like 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So when a dog is barking at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, she's not happy.
I can imagine not.
So, she's telling me all about this dog and like, how am I going to get rid of him? I'm like, you really can't. Have you thought about just going to the neighbors and saying, hey, listen, your dog is a nuisance. Can you do something about it? Is there anything that we can, devise a plan with to say, let's muffle this dog a bit, No, instead, you know what she did? I got this figured out, Lyle. I've read it in a book somewhere. This will work, trust me. She put a mirror outside of her window that was facing the house that the dog was living in.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently, when you face a mirror towards ugly spirits and ugly things in nature, they will see themselves, realize they're ugly, and just go away.
What?
And what you know it, within like 6 months, that dog left. Like the neighbors just up and left. They moved away. And all of a
Okay.
sudden, she's just like, I told you, my mirror worked, Mom. It took 6 months. It doesn't matter. My mirror was there, and that's why. Sometimes it takes longer than others.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine the conversation within that household was more or less something like, we can't keep making payments on this place. Like, our finances keep running dry. We got to find a smaller place to live. It's like, honey, I know. This is why I should have married your brother. Shut the fuck up. You get the back of my hand. And then, 6 months of that, and they had no choice but to move out. Probably broke up. Probably the damn dog was, influencing the breakup as well. But, and then somewhere nowadays, there's a guy probably, laying in a one-bedroom closet somewhere, in South Louisiana, and he's thinking to himself, man, I remember that neighbor with a window in her mirror. She was weird.
A mirror in her window.
Yeah.
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 I was going to say, like, um, like maybe they were sitting there arguing or whatever, and just like, I'm real sick of your. Is that a mirror over there? What are you talking about? You don't argue with me and then look out the window and swear you see a mirror. No, seriously. Look like 3 houses down. I swear that's a mirror. And that's some crazy lady, like adjusting it specifically to. What is she doing?
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, we can't live next to somebody that crazy. We need to move.
Is she trying to blind our dog with her mirror, with the sun and everything? Like, is that what's going? She's pointing it right at.
Oh man, that would suck if the sun comes up and just reflects right off the mirror into the window. Oh.
That's why they moved. This crazy lady keeps reflecting a mirror at us, and the sun is just driving me crazy at night. At night, yeah, the sun's driving me crazy at night. Never mind.
Yeah.
Done with this conversation. Can we move on now?
Sure, fine.
So, I guess we're ready for some clickbait news.
I suppose we are.
We're done with the Asaparamances and on to, more important stuff.
Yeah, wow, I cannot believe that that's a thing. Open my eyes to new horizons, that I too can make predictions with throwing a bushel of radishes down the street and seeing which side of the white line they land on to tell you who is going to be the next heavyweight champion of UFC.
Speaking of, I suppose we should touch on that real quick. We promised, predictions for wrestling matches. That was going to be the new segment to take over the NFL thing. We don't have that this week. As Andy explained to me earlier, he said there's really no way to determine what matches are coming up. This cannot be a weekly segment. I thought they planned ahead with the wrestling matches for the weekly shows. Apparently they don't, and they announce them at the beginning of the shows.
Yeah, yeah. The only time like you may have a match that is scheduled, but it would only be the main event. Because a lot of times those would be kind of done on the fly as well. Like
Right.
somebody would come off big off their pay-per-view win and be like, yeah, I'm champ now. This is me now. And then somebody else will come out the back and go, you're not hot shit. I'm hot shit. I challenge you for that belt right now. And, you're thinking to yourself, there's no way the belt's going to change hands. People paid money to watch this thing. It's a whole mess. But yeah, the long and short of it is that pay-per-views are scheduled. Live in-ring shows are not.
Right. So because of that, and there's 2 pay-per-views a month.
Right now there's only one. It's going to eventually open up that way, I believe.
Okay. Well, we have a new monthly segment that's going to be coming out. It's going to be the wrestling thing, But aside from that, we have another monthly segment that's, coming up. We're not going to do it this week, partially because we ran out of time talking about other ridiculous things like my mother and her mirrors. And the other part is because we just want to give it a little bit more thought before we throw it at you guys. But it's going to be called "Tell 'Em Why You Mad, Son," and it's going to be just me and Andy, one of us or both of us, just venting over stupid shit that has happened to us in the previous month, and just reacting to it, as it were. So look forward to that probably next week, if not definitely by the end of January. And then the wrestling thing. Royal Rumble's coming up soon, right?
Yeah, Royal Rumble's coming up in about 2 weeks, I think.
Is that still as big as it used to be?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, it is a big thing. It's one of the big 4 pay-per-views.
Okay, all right. And that's coming up 2 weeks, you said?
Yeah, in about 2 weeks.
Okay, so next week we should have all the matches.
I believe so.
All right.
I don't see why it should take that long. But the only thing that's going to be up in the air, which ought to be fun. I don't know how familiar you are with wrestling or what the Royal Rumble actually is.
I know what the Royal Rumble actually is, and I have thought about this, and I think I'm going to predict one of, what is it, 30 wrestlers, right? That go in?
Yeah.
It's 30. Okay, so for those who don't know, the Royal Rumble it starts with 4 wrestlers at once.
No.
No.
2.
2. Okay, it starts with 2 wrestlers at once. And every 30 seconds?
Not every 30 seconds. It's every.
Why don't you just go ahead and explain it?
Yeah. So, wrestlers, quote unquote, draw numbers, backstage, and they come out in their order. And usually if you're number 1, you're not going to win the Rumble. In the history of the Royal Rumble, there's only ever been 2 people that have ever come out as number 1 and won the Rumble. So it's usually not a good sign.
Can you name them both? Don't name them right away, but can you name them both?
Yeah, Shawn Michaels
and the other one, his name is John Cena.
No, it was not John Cena.
Well, that's going to be my prediction for everything ever, just so you know. Go on.
Oh my God, Stone Cold. But either way.
Yeah, I know. I remember that. So, wasn't that the one? Not to cut you off, but wasn't that the one that he got number 1, and then Vince McMahon got number 30?
Yeah. That was some hard times.
I remember that.
Yeah. So they come out and then it's every few minutes. I want to say 3 to 5 minutes.
I thought it was a minute and a half.
That could be a minute and a half.
Hey, whatever. A certain amount of time. Yeah,
it's more than a minute. It's less than 5 minutes. It actually has changed a couple of times over the years, but a new wrestler comes out and you don't know who it is until the music starts playing. Like you hear their entrance music and you're like, oh shit, it's that guy. And especially over the last couple of years, they've been dragging some people out of the woodwork, like wrestlers who haven't wrestled a wrestling match in years. All of a sudden their music hits and you're like, what? Where the hell did they find this guy at? Stuff like that. And then, you have guys that either have been out on injury and the Rumble is when they come back off their injury. They're like, whoa, he wasn't due back for another 3 months. What the hell is he doing here?
Right.
Things like that. And then, last year, at the Royal Rumble, number 3 was, AJ Styles, who made his first WWE debut at the Royal Rumble last year. He was a big TNA guy and nobody ever thought they would see him. It was talk that he was going to come to WWE, but nobody knew his debut was going to be in the Royal Rumble. So that was a big deal.
All right. So, as you can see, Andy is brimming with wrestling cheer. Can't wait to get this segment rolling. And yeah, he's going to be feeding me the matches for WrestleMania, probably next week, and I will be predicting.
Royal
So
Rumble.
right, Royal Rumble. WrestleMania is in the summer or some shit, right? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
Yeah, we're watching that together.
Yeah, all right, then we're watching the Super Bowl together.
I rescind my offer to watch WrestleMania. I'll watch it with your wife.
Oh, you bitch. Um. So what I would say about the Royal Rumble is I would like to pick 5 guys, and if one of those 5 guys win, then I win. Is that allowed?
Sure,
Okay.
I can do that.
Okay. Do we actually have a list of who is going to be in the Royal Rumble though?
Ooh, there's only some guys that you can guarantee will be in the Royal Rumble, but not all the participants have been picked yet.
Will they be picked? Will they be revealed?
Not all 30 will be revealed.
See, then there's no way I can do this.
No, because you can still do some. I mean,
Is John Cena going to be in it?
I don't know.
Find out, and if so, that's my pick. If not, then John Cena's the man. Like, he's the best internet meme ever. I don't care what you say.
Honestly, I'm thinking that the person who wins the Rumble is a person who probably, is not a consistent wrestler. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Let's get into clickbait news.
Yes.
So next week,
we're all over the board this time.
Yeah, next week be on the lookout for wrestling talk and tell them why you mad, son. Right now it's clickbait news time, though. First clickbait news of the year. No Florida.
Oh.
Nah, no Florida. I figured I'd start things off on a good note. New year, new me. Where
do you even start?
So would you like to go to... Oh, we could do Houston.
Oh, we could... Yeah, actually, that's pretty fitting. Let's go Houston.
I'm not done. We could do Austin.
Texas, really?
And where's this one at? Let's see here. Westchester, Ohio.
Oh, boring. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is stupid.
We're gonna end with Ohio, okay?
I agree.
All right. Let's start with we'll start with Austin.
Yeah, because we were just talking about wrestling, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
In Austin, Texas, what did police find under a man's belly fat?
In Austin, Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Under a man's belly fat.
I'm starting to realize this was not the way I should have worded the question. It still works, but there was a better one. But go ahead.
I am going to say an abnormally large belt buckle.
I should have actually worded the question, where did police find cocaine on the man?
That works too. Also, same answer, under a ridiculously large belt buckle.
Authorities say a Texas man tried to destroy cocaine hidden under his belly fat while being taken to jail after failing a field sobriety test early on New Year's Eve. Wow. An Austin police officer pulled over Florentino Herrera early on the morning of December 31st, not 4th.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
After he says he saw the 48-year-old run a stop sign and cross a solid white traffic line. Herrera was arrested after failing field sobriety tests and refusing to take a blood alcohol test. In an affidavit, police say the squad car's camera recorded Herrera trying to destroy cocaine concealed under his stomach fat. He's being held on charges of evidence tampering and driving while intoxicated.
Now that brings up a fair point. Is it evidence tampering if it's not technically evidence yet?
Ooh. That's a good point. You see, these cops
don't know there's been a crime.
It's just another case of the cops hating on the fat man.
I know, right? I mean, I think it's prejudice because that doesn't sound like a very Texas name. I mean, I don't know where he's from, but it's safe to say it's not originally
Mexico.
Austin.
Probably Mexico.
Maybe, but again, stereotyping, don't want to do it. I'm going to say he's from Ohio. They don't take kindly to Ohio around there in Austin.
They really don't. It's true, or
No,
Packers.
like that guy has to have an insane party life to be able to be like, oh, what'd you do for New Year's? Oh, I got drunk and did some stuff, but also like started destroying cocaine under my belly fat. Like, what?
Yeah, and then around 12 noon, I decided to get out of jail and really go party
Yeah, right. Like, drop it a bucket. I mean,
because all that was done in the morning.
yeah. What? She's like, dude, what are you trying to do? It's like, well, I saw that movie Lucy.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Let's go on. Okay, so we're gonna we're gonna go on the same theme here. Um, what did cops mistakenly arrest a Houston, Texas man for having possession of?
I was gonna say soy sauce.
you know, to say that you wouldn't be far off. Uh, I'm not gonna read the headline. I'm just gonna go into this. A Texas man was arrested and jailed after police found half a pound of methamphetamines in his car. Okay,
Okay.
but there was just one slight problem. It wasn't methamphetamines. It was kitty litter. Harris County,
Um. I have questions.
Harris County Sheriff's deputies believe they had found the drugs in Ross LeBeau's car in early December. They thought they had the biggest bust in Harris County. This was the bust of the year for them, LeBeau told KTRK. The department thought they made such a huge bust, they even sent out a news release bragging that their actions may have kept our children and loved ones free from being introduced to drugs. What the
Oh my
officers
god.
thought were drugs was actually kitty litter inside a sock that was used to keep his windows from fogging up. That's kind of smart. However, uh, LeBeau
Wow.
says he does not blame the deputies as their field test twice registered positive for meth. It wasn't until a lab test showed the substance was kitty litter did authorities admit to making a mistake. Charges against LeBeau were dropped on January 4th. So he got the charges early December, and they weren't dropped until January 4th
Unbelievable.
for kitty litter.
Unbelievable. Like,
I just
wow.
because you probably never seen it before. They have pictures of kitty litter standing next to well, not standing, but pictures of kitty litter next to pictures of meth. So share screens here for a second here. Here we are. Here's the gentleman that was falsely accused. Here's meth and here's kitty litter.
Yeah, no, I could totally see where they could confuse the pile of, you know, khaki woodland colored grit with the bright blue crystalline meth.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, that guy does look like a meth head. I'm not gonna lie. Um,
he's got his beard. That's probably his exit photo from jail. So if he looks that good from his exit photo from jail, imagine how he looks on his good day. You know what I mean?
that is true. But like, he probably swore up and down it was kitty litter in a sock. Now, you're a police officer. You have stopped a man for what you presume to be possession of drugs. Okay, so I don't even know how he got stopped in the first place. How did they search his car? Like, what?
Oh yeah, they never did say that.
What? They just pulled him over because he was speeding and then decided that, we're going to see if you're doing anything illegal in here.
Yeah, they never said why they pulled him over. Wow. Huh.
I think the kitty litter was planted. Like, they just put cat litter in a sock and then wanted to detain this guy because, it's Texas. He probably, I don't know, let his kid watch Dora the Explorer or something. Like, whatever. But it's a setup. It's a setup if I ever smelt one, and it smells like Fresh Step.
It smells like bread. Very nice. Let's move on.
What's going on in Ohio?
Probably my favorite story this week. For several reasons.
Second favorite.
No, probably my favorite. for several reasons.
Okay.
Um, how can I word this so it's not easy? All
Good question.
right. You know what? I don't think there is a way to word this because it's going to be too easy. But I'll do it the only way I can think of. What did the 7-year-old get for Christmas when she thought it was a video game, but it wasn't?
She thought it was a video game?
Yeah,
Porn.
it was porn. That's what I knew. I knew it
Yes.
was. I knew it was too easy. Like I was like, whatever. Yeah. So here's one way to ruin a child's Christmas, if I've ever seen one. Mackenzie Blankenship,
Blackenship?
Blankenship. There's an N there.
That doesn't help.
A little girl up in Westchester, Ohio, unwrapped a copy of Splatoon this past Christmas morning to go along with her brand new Wii U. First of all, that's just bad parenting. Come on. You got Nintendo Switch right around the corner. You want to get her a Wii U now? You're terrible. That she had opened the night before. When she went to open the case, instead she found a copy of Sensual Seductions 2 in place of the game, and as you might imagine, she was not happy.
Yeah, I mean you can't play the second one without seeing the first one.
Right. Her mother, Krista Grader, who was even less happy about the incident, had bought the game the week before from Target. And given the fact that the game was purchased new, Target does not sell games that the seal is broken. It seems Sensual Seductions 2 made its way into the case somewhere at Nintendo.
Wow.
Grader recounted the event. I looked over her shoulder and I grabbed it. I saw the picture on it and she just was, why? What is that? Why are they naked? She continued, obviously that isn't Target's fault. They didn't manufacture it, but I feel as a distributor, they should take some responsibility to get to the bottom of it so it doesn't continue to happen. I mean, I can see that.
I can see that too, yeah.
Fortunately, this kind of thing doesn't happen most of the time, but for some reason, if for some reason you are concerned about the disc that come inside the case, it's best and cheaper to buy used games anyway, and between GameStop and GameFly there are plenty of options to do so. Do not shop at GameStop. Oh, terrible. Terrible. Anyway, go ahead. that's that's the story.
I mean, that is weird, especially since there was that viral video a few years back about like the porn playing over the loudspeaker at Target.
I remember that.
Yeah. So the idea that somebody's purchasing video games from them and finding porn inside the video game case, I mean, it's a pretty good coincidence. I think Target is meant to be some sort of innuendo, and they've been hiding it in plain sight this entire time.
Might
Also,
be.
I mean, technically, what the girl got was a Splatoon, but probably not the kind she was ready to watch.
Right.
If you want the Bukkake Blaster, it's DLC. Get all your friends involved.
Uh, wait for Splatoon 2. I got nothing.
Electric Boogaloo. That's the only thing you can put for a sequel.
Come hither, nostrils. So
Agreed.
that's clickbait news this week.
Guys, that was your second favorite. Your first favorite was the Asaparamancer.
I mean, yeah, but that wasn't clickbait news. But you're right.
You just said article.
Fair enough. The experiment by far. So much so that now, being that it's time to name this episode,
How can it be anything but the Asaparamancer?
Oh, hold on a second. I have two.
Okay.
I have mirrored veggies,
Okay.
and I have Asparamancing reflections.
Ooh, that is a mouthful.
You think?
Just a bit.
Okay.
Um,
I definitely want Asparamancer in there somehow, some way.
I agree. I honestly, I'd just be happy with just calling it the
The
Asaparamancer.
Asparamancer. Okay, that's what we're doing it then. What episode is this?
Good God, you want me to find out?
Is this 24?
Um,
You're usually on top of this stuff, man. What's
I
going on?
usually look. We had a week off,
Yeah.
and before the pot, I was drinking. Um,
He was, you know.
so I think I'm actually pretty well together right now.
Yeah, that was
Numbers is still not a thing. I don't have time for your Asian magic.
it was Jesus. Let's end this before it gets out of control. This is 24 because last week was 23. Yeah. Or
Okay, cool.
week before last was 23. By the way, last week was supposed to be a clips episode, and I'm sorry if anyone was looking forward to that, but I don't think that's ever going to happen again.
Aw.
If a clips episode was to ever happen, we're going to get paid for it. So unless people are willing to buy our podcast, you're not getting a clips episode out of me because Andy refuses to learn how to use a computer, and it literally takes up to 10 hours, possibly longer, just to make a clips episode. I don't think I got that kind of patience in me, so sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean carbs, but not patience.
Right. No, I don't have many carbs in me right now. I have a few. But anyway, so that will do it for this week's edition of the Side Splitters, episode number 24, titled The Asaparamancer. My name is Lyle.
And I'm always Andy.
See you next week, folks.
Bye.